working in the factory too. I was still going to school. I was only eight and a half years old when we came to Austria, and there was no, all my other sisters and everybody, they would be working in different factories or something.
Well, I was still in school
Oh, you were still in school, that's right. Afterwards, you went to
Yeah.
work in the factory.
after Pa's
Yeah.
died, yeah.
Do you want to pause this here?
I already did.
Okay. Did you start a new one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I found a little transition.
So when you were living in Yugoslavia, Austria, did you ever see anything about Hitler, or was that something you saw every day, or?
Well, we, in Yugoslavia, we didn't see much because we didn't, or hear anything that much because we didn't have no electricity, no radio, nothing. But in Austria, they, you know, you would hear his speeches, what he would say in
But
different
we
times.
had one, our neighbor had a radio. And
Battery operated.
I remember they used to listen sometimes to the speech from Germany, whatever they could get.
Marie knows more because she was older. I was only, 8 years old when we left Yugoslavia, so, but I still remember a lot of things, as you can,
Yeah.
and
What did your family tell you guys when you asked why you had to leave? Did you understand what was going
oh
on?
yes, we knew
Oh,
we had
sure,
to
we
leave
knew.
because
We were glad to go
'cause we
Why do you
were
say that?
Well-
because there was shooting
all the time. Where almost every other night we would get attacked from the partisans.
Did you ever see anyone killed, or what kind of thing? What was the worst thing you saw?
Well, we didn't see any killed. They got, one time there was a soldier from Berlin, and he adopted me, and every Saturday I brought him roses.
Do you remember his name?
Otto was his name.
That's
all
the
I
name?
know.
Otto.
Otto.
Kennst du Otto's letzter Name?
I don't know.
We don't know his family name. We only
I
know his
only
first
know
name,
Otto.
Otto.
So, and some soldiers died, and the soldiers went in the cemetery to make the graves. And when they come out, the partisans were waiting for them and shot them all, 10 or 11. And my mother said, the first shot was fired, and I said, Mother Otto died, and that was exactly how it was. So in my childish thing, I wrote his wife a letter. Yeah, and I didn't bring him his roses on Friday. So my mother said, before the shots fired, she said, you forgot Otto's roses. So I took the roses and gave him in his hands. And I wrote his wife a letter in my childish thing and told her that Otto died.
What do you remember? What was the worst thing that you saw?
Well, I guess the worst thing, there was one time when there was, after an attack, we were sitting out on we had a long porch in the side of our house, and we were sitting there, and my brother Joe and a few other girls from outside, they were sitting there, and all of a sudden we heard a shot, bing, and it was almost between my brother and the girl, and they were lucky because somebody was hiding in an attic, one of the partisans, and was almost shot, so that scared the heck out of me, It was so close, but otherwise we would be, when they were attacking, we would be hiding in the house, and I would be shivering, my teeth were shattering, like, when you're scared, and it was very dramatic, so we were glad.
There was one partisan who was hiding
That's what I said, he was hiding in an attic a few houses down
Yeah.
the street,
from
a neighbor's, you know, and she had a shot and he was gonna shoot somebody, you know. And,
What happened to the people in your town that didn't leave, Prendier?
well, some people didn't leave, and I guess
Well-
you know more about that.
Well, the ones who didn't leave, they were double agents.
How did that work? Double agents for.
They were with us friendly and they were with the partisans. They knew everything from our town.
Mm-hmm.
My father's name was on the list too,
To be
What was the
killed,
list?
to
to
be
be
killed.
killed,
Why
and
was
they get,
this?
They
you know,
catch him
Why did they want to do that?
because he was that very well in town, you know. He had, I don't know what his thing was.
well, I guess he was a little involved in politics in the town hall and things like that. And people came to him a lot for advice and different things. So they had certain people from town on the list of if they catch him, they're gonna shoot. And a few people they did catch and they shot him, you know. And they had even a few of them, they tell them dig a hole and everything. And they had to dig a hole and then they shot them and buried
Oh,
them,
well.
you know.
Did they do this in front of people in the town?
Well, when the
War.
thing was over, the war was over, 15 men went back home to our town. They told that they were all in the
The
military.
German army?
And
Yeah, German army, yeah.
They thought we were still home. And the partisan catch them. And they made a big thing, a grave, and one had to kill the other one with an axe. So they all 15, and the last one they shot. And a woman from the next town, she was in the woods and she saw it. And she told some of our town people that happened, and she gave him the names who was shot. 15 men were shot there from our town.
Now, you mentioned the partisans a lot. Who were they affiliated with? What
They were
government?
affiliated with the Yugoslavs, with Tito's. They were Tito soldiers, military.
Okay.
And he ordered them to, every German, they would attack a lot of the towns that had German people, and especially our town was all German, but some of the neighboring towns, they were like half German and half Croatian. So, and they made those people help them when I was telling you about sharpening the knives, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and they were, you know, so scared because they had family in our town and they knew, so they were praying that they wouldn't, you know, to get, that they wouldn't get through and to kill us, you know. So, and afterwards, they had the concentration camp in Grenada.
Yeah.
Did you guys? What was the general opinion of Adolf Hitler and the Germans in your town?
Well, we were Germans. We were Germans. We were not
Lebensraum, right?
Hitler, but we were Germans, you know, and they hated the Germans.
That land used to be part of Germany prior to the end of the World War I, correct?
Well, that used to be all of Yugoslavia, and Hungary and Bulgaria, and even Ukraine used to be Austria-Hungary in the
Mhm.
1800. And then after the First World War, they would be separating in different things, Croatia and Macedonia and all different, sections. So that's what it is now, you know,
Mhm.
different, it's not just Yugoslavia, it's just like the United States, they have different, states, and that's
Mhm.
what,
And how our forefathers came to Yugoslavia and to Hungary, Maria Theresia, Prince Eugene threw the Turks out.
Mhm.
They were in Austria over 100 years. He threw all the Turks out, and then they had no people. So Maria Theresia went to Germany, to Austria, and to Elsass-Lothringen, and said,
Elsass, yeah, that's part of
Yeah.
France now,
Yeah.
Alsace-Lorraine.
and they promised our forefathers to get so and so much
Land.
property
Mhm.
if they go. But they had to buy themselves free from their, what was that, from their masters. A child so and so much, a woman so and so much, and a man so and so much. And on the Danube, they went down to Hungary and settled there in 17 something. And then our town was settled in the early 1800s, because there were so many already in Hungary,
Mhm.
and my grandfather, both sides,
What was his name? What were their names?
were Karl Richter and Baudendistel. I don't even know his first name.
I don't remember his first
My
name.
mother's father. They came, they had already property in Hungary, and they sold it, and they could buy 3 times as much on in Yugoslavia, and that's how they settled our town.
Okay, let's stop there for a sec, if you don't mind.